Charjr Ryuki. I got a little story to tell. And the title of this is going to be, how would I say it? I don't know, I'll think of it, but I'll just say this. It's your choice to believe it or not. If you want to call it fake, go ahead. Because all I have is my memory of this. And I remember it pretty damn clear. So I'm not going to be like all about my channel, I ain't going to be bullshitting you guys. I'm not. Even for the new subscribers. I'm not going to be bullshitting you. So, I probably should have did this on Halloween. But, what the hell, there's a full moon outside. So, my story begins years ago when I was in school. They have, like, FBLA or whatever will have a Halloween costume party where they play, like, a PG kind of horror movie. Yeah, kind of those horror movies that more likely have jump scares than anything else. Not exactly what you would call a horror movie. I got extremely bored. I think it was when they had Van Helsing. And I've already seen Van Helsing at least 3 or 4 times. I even own it. So, I really got really bored. And it was one of those nights that the moon would appear really close to the earth. So close that you could just possibly just reach your hand out and touch it. Just like that. Just reach out and touch it. If you want an idea of that, watch Bruce Almighty when he pulls the moon. Jim Carrey's character pulls the moon down to the earth real close like. Something like that, and it was one of those movies where it looked kind of like a full moon. It was really bright. I felt really irritated besides the fact that I was bored. I felt drawn outside for some reason, like something was calling me. So, I decided to grab myself a drink, and while I was walking around the school, and this is around 10:30, 11, and I had a white t-shirt on that was half-ass tore up, had fake blood, all over my, face, whatever. I wore jeans that were all torn up. And I'm walking around the school, and there's an ag building where the wood shop is. And I walked behind, I stood there, right behind the school, and I'm looking directly at the building. And I guess when I go out on a walk, maybe tomorrow, and I'll probably bring Kira with me, if not, I'll show you guys exactly where this happened. And where I can't say specific. There, I just said it. That specific spot, I said spot, what the hell. See, I mess up. And, what happens is, whatever that basically I felt like called me outside was drawing me behind the building. So, this is for you guys to believe it or not. It's your choice. But it's really hard to believe. And I have a lot of stories like this, but this is the one that I can literally clear to this day remember in detail. So I walk behind the school, and I'm cautious. Not like a scared cautious, because I'm not scared of anything. I don't get scared at all. More like curiosity. And around that time, yeah, I've been practicing martial arts for, at that time, at least 5-6 years, and I've already had been in my share of fights. But I had no weapon on me. And I wasn't really fond of weapons anyway. I'm still not. But I'm practicing with them. Get back to the story, stupid. So I'm walking around, and I get behind a door to either the ag classroom or the wood classroom. Whichever one that has a heater vent pipe or PCP pipe or whatever. For like the heater sticking out far, about a foot out from the building. And I'm standing by that door, and they just built a road during that time as well, so people could park behind the school. So there's a ledge there, about 4 feet tall. So I'm standing there, and I'm looking down at the tree line at this field that's behind this ag building, and something catches my eye. And like I said, this is for you to believe or not believe. It's your choice. I seen a pair of glowing red eyes. Glowing red eyes. More like, I would show you a book. Something like this color. No, I was not asked to show you that book. I was just showing you the color of the book to give detail of something standing in the trees. And with the moon's help, because of how bright it was, I could tell that it was hunched over a bit, and it was huge. Really fucking big. And I'm standing there watching it. And you can already feel the adrenaline starting to kick in. Boom, 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 boom. Your heart starts beating. But in my case, since I did say I was irritated, my temper began to flare. And I was walking towards the edge, and when I stopped at the edge, I stopped, and I was still staring at it. I locked eyes with whatever this was. And what happened was that, okay, is this thing just gonna, we're just gonna have a staring contest, or what? But what happens is, this thing actually slowly comes out, and it lets out a little snarl. Not like that, but you guys can think of what I'm trying, whatever. Just some kind of little growl like that. And I'm still standing there. Just standing there staring at it. And this is the kind of, I'm trying to find a spot where I can do this. But just think of it like this. This is like the tree. It reached around with these claws, and I only could see a black hand, like it was black, and a dark colored black, and it with one hand, one clawed hand, you can clearly tell there's claws on the end of them fingers. It completely reached around this tree. I mean, if I went and grabbed a hold of that tree, I couldn't even wrap my whole hand around it. But this thing clearly just grabbed it, and it came out. And it was still kind of hunched, but as it came out and it started coming up in the moonlight, that's when I really got a clear picture of this thing. A clear fucking picture that's burned in my memory that I cannot get out, cannot forget about it. When this thing stood straight up, guys, no bullshit here, it was at least 8 feet tall. At least 8 feet tall. I'm still standing on the ledge, and I have to somewhat look up at it. Okay? I'm almost at eyes length, but in a way, I'm still looking up in an up direction where I have to tilt my head up just a bit to look. If it's 8 feet tall, a little bigger. It was fucking huge. And covered in black fur, big broad shoulders, its arms went down to its freaking knees. Besides the eyes and the black fur and it being freaking 8 feet tall, it was its face as well. It had a canine face. Its muzzle was at least this far out. And it had canines that were at least 6 inches long. And they kind of went around. When it closed its mouth, you can see the fangs, the tip of the fangs on the side of its mouth. And if I wasn't holding this camera right now, I would show you guys what my reaction was. But I have to tell you. When this thing came out, and I was still locked eyes with it, and there's no way I can run away from it. No way. I had to take a chance, take a risk, be stupid, and try and fight the thing. Fight it away so I could get away, you know. But instinct took over me. And this happens quite a lot. And when I do these martial art videos, guys, you guys at some point will start seeing me change a little bit. And you'll see that in future videos. You'll see me change a little bit. And I'm going to allow myself to do that. Back then, I had a tendency to black out. And when I black out, I'm up here. My body's down here. I can't do a damn thing what my body is doing. I've been in a lot of fights where people pushed me so far. So far, guys. Every time when something dark like that would happen, I'm up here. I can't do a damn thing for what I'm doing down below. And I had this reaction. It's like, for a moment, as soon as I leaped off that ledge to challenge this thing, you guys know in my videos that I have a tendency to growl. When that happens, I do nothing but growl. That's all that comes out. No words, no nothing, just growls. Nothing else. And I don't fight with fists. I fight like this. This is how I fight when I'm like that. I don't understand why. I'm still talking like this. This is how I've always fought. I'm not acting, I'm not bullshitting you. I'm telling you straight up. That's why I'm saying I'm leaving this for you to decide whether it's real or not. I challenged that thing. I don't remember at all getting bitten, okay? But I do remember every time I took a strike at it, I leaned forward and took a step. And it took a step back. And then it was like a back and forth thing. I would take a step or 2 steps, it would take a step back, and then it'll take a step forward, push me back. And I remember going after its arms. So I would literally, when it goes and hits me and knocks me on my ass, I get up immediately and I attack the arm. I remember it grabbing me from the behind and throwing me into the ledge. And this is the kind of sound. Something like that. My body hitting solid wood. despite the pain, I got right back up and lunged at this thing. I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. And I can't even tell you how long it lasted. I mean, I went for the body, I went for the arms, I even tried to reach up to grab its neck. I tried. When I'm like that, I'm told that I go for vital areas. If there's an opening, when it went down, when it leaned forward, I immediately took my chance and went for his neck. But it backed up immediately. I could tell that my instincts are starting to kick in. The adrenaline's pumping. My heart's beating, and I'm probably staring at the camera a lot, so I apologize. What happened next? I guess it was like the last straw. Well, this time it felt like it was actually trying to get away from me, not from me trying to get away from it. Hard to believe something as big, scary, ruthless, bloodthirsty as something as big as that, all of a sudden, show a little fear. Show a little fear. And it hit me, and before I hit the ground, and this is not just hit and I get back up, this is hit the ground hard and then get back up. It hit me, and just like you would with an uppercut, but with its arms as long as it goes down to its knees, it reached up like this, went like that, got me here, from stomach up, and it dug in, and went up like this, and I went flying. And I'll show you the spot tomorrow. I went flying, and I hit the building behind me. And to this day, no one has ever figured out how that dent by that little pipe that's sticking out of the building for the heater, how a dent show you guys. Phil, come here. About as big as that. About as big as that. About 3 inches deep into the building. About 2-3 inches deep into the building. Nobody knows how it happened. When I woke up, it felt like a semi hit me. I couldn't recall what happened right away. My arm was wrapped around that pipe. When I tried to get up, I couldn't. And when I realized that my arm was on the pipe, well, obvious, you use the pipe, right? So I used the pipe to stand, and I'm still struggling for my legs to handle the weight. And as this is going on, my hand was sticky. And I looked at my hand, it looked weird. Looked like there was something on it. So I even though this hurt like hell, I rose it up to where some of the moonlight will shine on it, and it looked kind of dark, much like blood. And I had my left hand never moved from the spot, so it was still on my chest, on my stomach. So when I go to move my hand, I felt this pain on my chest. And I looked down, and my shirt's all torn to hell. And I'm wearing a white t-shirt. It's it's all torn to hell. And I see more of this dark color on it. I look at my left hand, it's like completely covered in blood. I don't know how that happened. I actually, for like a sort of surprise, I'm looking for bodies. Like, what the hell happened? Where's the body? Am I the body? What the hell? Am I dead? Oh no, I'm still here. What the hell? And then things started to come back, and I immediately looked towards the tree line, and there was nothing there. I actually climbed down and I walked in the tree line, and there was nothing there. Whatever was there was gone. So I climbed back up on the ledge, and I started walking towards, while taking that torn up shirt off. I started laughing for some reason, and the laugh sounded like this. And it came out like that, and I had a smirk on my face. When I walked around the corner of the building, I blacked out. And for a second, I thought I seen, when I was walking down the sidewalk, when I walked behind the corner and blacked out, it's like I came to at some point, and I thought I'd seen somebody walking up the stairs towards the back of the school, and the movie's still going. It's now past midnight, but the movie is still going. There's still people there. And when I blacked out again, and I found out that the person that I seen that I thought was somebody else was actually me. It's like, if I was here, why was I standing over there looking? Why was I over there looking at myself? Who was walking up the stairs to the school, behind the school? I couldn't really wrap my head around it, and I peered into the school. I walked up just like this, and I'm looking straight ahead. And I turned my head like this, and I guess someone noticed me standing there, so I went like that. And then I turned and kept on walking. I blacked out again. Next thing I know, I'm standing in front of my old house, which is actually torn down now. Someone else bought the house, the land or whatever, and built something else there. But I woke up, like my conscience came back. I was standing right in front of the doorway, by the street, by this old tree, and I'm standing there. I'm standing there with my knees bent, kind of like horse stance, but I was hunched over. I had an evil look on my face, and I could remember me not saying a word, but I was growling the whole time. And I had hands like these. Like all of a sudden, I was like that again. And I had stood up as I heard something, and it sounded like a vehicle, and I turned, and it was a cop car. And this cop car had turned and pulled up right in front of me. I never moved. I was glaring at him, whoever the officer was. So he got out, and he pulled his flashlight, and he started down and went up. And when he got a hold of my chest and the side of my face and my chest, and I guess I let him growl like, something like that. And he immediately clicked off his flashlight, ran towards the door, opened it, got in. It didn't even have to take the time to shut the door. Stepped on the gas and was gone. I did that growling laugh again as I watched him sped off, as if I enjoyed it. And I walked home. See, around where I was standing, you can actually walk straight to my old parents' house, where I used to live. But apparently, because I had blacked out again, I had woke up again on the right side of the street by this old gym building that's pretty run down. It's basically needs to be torn down, but oh well. And I'm standing there just like before at the school. I'm watching someone walk up towards the back door of my parents' house. And then I closed my eyes as if I blacked out again. And here I am seeing myself walk. As if me, standing here right now, walking. And I opened the door, and I look down at myself. I have 4 or 5 lines going from my chest all the way down to my stomach. Red from blood, swollen. My hands are covered in what seems to be, I guess, my blood. I still had this dark expression on my face, or at least in my eyes. And my mom was still up, because I was the only one out that night. And she took one look at me and goes, "Brett, what the hell happened?" And I said, "Oh, I was walking around and I tripped into a thorn bush." A thorn bush, guys. That's all I could come up with. And I said, "I'm tired, I'm going to bed." So weeks after that, even though I think I've probably mentioned this before, that everybody at this school treated me like trash. I was the outcast of my class. I had very few friends that I could trust. Very few. Within a handful. Within a handful of like 5 people that I could trust. And I would snap at people. I would growl at them for no reason. I had a very angry and dark expression for like the next 2 weeks. I even acted out towards my family.